Margaret Laurence is one of the most celebrated authors in Canada. Two of her books, A Jest of God and The Diviners, won the Governor-General's Literacy Award. Margaret Laurence was born in Nipawin, Manitoba on July 18, 1926. Her mother died when she was only 4 years old. Her aunt, Margaret Simpson, who was her mother's sister, went to live with them to take care of 4-year-old Margaret. A year later, her father and aunt married. 2 years later, brother Robert was born when Margaret was 7. When Margaret was 9, her father died of pneumonia. That left stepmother alone with 2 children during the Depression. The family moved into the big house to live with grandfather. She was interested in writing from childhood on. In high school, one of her joys was writing and editing for the school newspaper. She got her first job in Nipawin, working for the Nipawin Press before college. She started going to college in Winnipeg, where she met Jack Laurence, a hydraulic engineer, whom she married. Because of her husband's job, they had to move all over the globe. They lived in Africa for a couple of years, then in England, and alternated between the two. It was while in Africa that she started her first series known as the African series. Her first novel that Margaret wrote was This Side Jordan. This book shows the old colonies of Ghana and the struggles of its change in power as Ghana becomes a nation. The Prophet's Camel Bell is an account of her life in Africa, and The Tomorrow Tamer is just a collection of African stories. Since Margaret wanted to have a career in writing and her husband did not, they divorced. After the divorce, she moved to England. In England, she wrote her famous novel, Stone Angel. Margaret remembers her life in Nipawin as she wrote that book. The imaginary town of Manawaga that she made up in her story is based on her hometown Nipawin. Some things that she mentions in her book is a tombstone with a stone angel on top, the Roxy Theatre, and the courthouse. She also refers to the flats in her book. It's a part in Nipawin where the Métis and the Aboriginals live. That part of town was lower, thus floodwaters reached it easier. Some other books that she wrote that are set in the town of Menwaga are A Jest of God, The Fire Dwellers, The Diviners, The Heart of a Stranger, and A Bird in the House. Stone Angels and the Diviners won the Governor's General Literacy Award. The last book that Margaret wrote was Dance in the Earth. It is basically a memoir of her life. She wrote that book in the hospital with her daughter Jocelyn, and it got edited by her daughter. Margaret Laurence died before that book was published. She died in her home in Lakefield, Ontario, and was buried in the Nipawin Cemetery beside her grandfather.